Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. What if I told you you can now log in one time in Playwright and then never write the login code again? No username, no password, no repeated login steps in every test. Just save the session and reuse it like a real authenticated user. So this is basically called as a storage state in Playwright, and it can completely change how you write your automation test. So in this tutorial, I will show you exactly how you can do this in your frameworks or with the Playwright. So let's begin. So first what we'll do is that we will create the login test and save our session in the .json file. Then what we need to do is that we need to use that JSON file. So let's create a login file first. And for that, what I need to do is that let me copy this the code from here. Let me create new Python file test underscore login underscore save and paste it over here, and test underscore login underscore save. Now we don't need this one from here. So remove this part from here. We are going to our channel website. We are locating the username, filling the username, password, clicking on it, and then we are basically verifying that the user is landing on the dashboard. And let's remove this one. And we don't need to log out from this code. Even if you don't want to assert over here, you can do this. So once this will log in, what we need to do is that we need to save the login state. So how we can do this basically, we say page dot context, page dot context dot storage underscore state. And here we need to give a path where we want to save the authenticated state. So we need to tell the path is equals to, let's go with the simple path, like I'll say state.json. So it will create on my root folder over here. So right now you see that we don't have any kind of a storage file over here. But once I will execute this test, it will create a file state.json and it will save the state of authenticated user. Right now, let's run this one, and it's basically the name of file is test underscore login underscore save, login underscore save, and just run this one and see what happens over here. So in our next test, what I will do is that I will use this state. I will not provide the username password. I will just provide that state.json file and it will give me a authenticated state. So it's going to on the channel website, provide username, password, login, and now after execution, you see that we got this state.json file and it contains the cookies, value, domain. So it's a complete authenticated file which we will use in our next test. So let me create and show you how can you use this file. So let me name the test as test underscore reuse underscore login dot py. Now again, let me copy this complete line of code from here and use that in our next test. So in this particular test, what I will do is that I will not utilize the login steps. I will simply use the login state. So first thing is that we need to change the name of the test. So let me change this to test underscore reuse underscore login underscore state. And here I don't need to go. Let me remove this complete code. So I write step by step. The first thing is that we need to create a context with the saved login state. Saved login state is basically we are referring to this state.json. So how to create a context? So I'll say context is equals to using the page fixture page dot context dot browser dot new context, and here we need to provide this state.json. So we need to tell storage underscore state is equals to our file. So our file is basically on the root, so we don't need to give a proper path. We can simply say the name of the file, which is state.json. State.json. Now, using this, what we'll do is that page is equals to context dot new page. Now, using this context, I'm opening a new page. Now, this new page have the authenticated state. So now I will say page dot go to, and I can now directly jump into the dashboard without providing the login thing in this particular test. So what I'll do is that I will simply go to the browser. Now let's go to the browser and find the URL directly for the dashboard. So go back here and go to the browser. Let me log in first. Admin123, and it will now redirect to the dashboard/index. So this is the URL. I'll directly go with this URL and provide this URL here in the page.goto. Now what happens is that this new page with the authenticated state now navigates to this one. Okay, so you are not providing the username and login in your test. Now, in order to verify that it's working, so basically, let's verify. So expect a page dot locator, and we have a heading, I believe. Yes, this is the heading. Inspect is h6, and this is the heading. The value is this. So let's go back here. I'll say locator, basically the h6 with the heading, and dot to have text, and text was dash board. Now what I'll do is that if I run this test will get the authenticated state, which is saved in state.json, and we are getting the new context, and from the new context we are getting a page, and we are navigating to this dashboard directly. Now, the purpose of using this approach is that you don't need to log in again, right? Once you have authenticated state, then you can run any n number of the test cases which requires authentication, right? So now let's run this one and let me show you what happens. So test underscore reuse underscore login underscore state. If I press enter, Let's see what happens. So it open the browser and you see that it's navigating to dashboard/index. And I haven't provided any login over here, right? Let me rerun this again. And what I will do is that I'll put some intentional wait so that you can see the execution over here. So let's run this again. So it will directly, you see that it's going to dashboard/index directly, which is authenticated state. And here on this page, it's verifying that we have a dashboard, right? In case if you further ensure that it's actually working fine or not. So this time the assertion should fail. And again, it will utilizing the safe storage authentication from the safe storage. This time it should fail because the text is a dashboard and we are giving something else, and it should fail our test right now. And you see that our test got failed. Expected to have text this, which is dashboard with the 4Ds, right? And here you see that we got the assertion failed. So in this way, you can write your automation scripts where your application starts with the login, and then you have maybe 100 of test cases based on the authentication. So save your storage, use that wherever it is required. Even if you are using a page update model or any framework, you can utilize in the same way.